Got it! This movie is so strange to me. I don't think anybody really knew what this movie was gonna be about. The only thing I knew, and I'm pretty sure the only thing most people knew, was that it was made by the same guy who made Godfather. Oh my god, those movies are good. And it's his passion project. He's putting a lot of money into it, so it's probably gonna
I
be
never watched
something.
it. Today is the 6th day.
So I asked you guys on Instagram what you wanted me to review, and I gave you two options, The Mousetrap or Megalopolis. Were there other options out there that are better? Of course, but I chose these two. And you're watching this video right now because Megalopolis won. If you'd like to decide my fate in the future, then go follow me on Instagram, and you might see a poll like this on my story. I'll probably review The Mousetrap at some point as well. First thing I want to say, it's kind of a cool name for a movie. Megalopolis. You know, like the word mega, like megalopolis.
It looked like a
Mega,
villain.
you know, like big, huge, like it's just a cool name for a movie, I think. The word is used to describe a mega city, so kind of like Metropolis, which is similar, but that's defined as a large city that operates as a capital or important hub of a region or something. Anyway, Megalopolis was written, directed, and fully funded by Francis Ford Coppola. $120 million down the drain of his own money. He sold his wineries
It's
to
so
make
bad?
this thing, and as most of you probably know, Francis Ford Coppola is the same celebrated director that made great movies such as The Godfather and Apocalypse Now. Some might not know this, but Nicolas Cage is Francis Ford Coppola's nephew. Cage's name that he was born with was
Bro,
Nicolas
laugh and
Kim
sing's
Coppola.
almost the
Since we
same.
know I can't go a single video without mentioning the man. Coppola had said that this was his dream movie, one that he's been wanting to make for years and years. According to The Guardian, there were about 300 rewrites to the script. That's kind of a big red flag, I think. You'd imagine around the 50th rewrite they would go, you know what? Maybe we should scrap it and make something else. And it must be said that an 84-year-old man directing a movie is impressive. When you're that age, a lot of things that younger people take for granted become a lot more tiresome. So the fact that he was able to direct this movie in the first place is pretty crazy. Also, he decided to renovate a drive-in motel that he was living in during shooting, and he did this while shooting. Interesting time to do that. The British director Mike Figgis had said when he arrived in Atlanta, he was looking for accommodation for his extended family, and he wasn't finding anything he particularly liked. So he bought a drive-in motel, which had just closed, and decided to renovate it. So all the way through the shoot, he lived there. The construction noise started at 6 in the morning. If both of those projects combined weren't a pain in the ass, his wife also fell ill during filming, which must have made things more difficult for Coppola. So I can't imagine making this movie was a breeze. One crew member had said it was like watching a train wreck unfold day after day, week after week.
All
And
this
knowing
to
that
get a
everybody
shitty
there had
movie.
tried their hardest to help the train wreck be avoided, they couldn't help but ask themselves, has this guy ever made a movie before? It also sounds as if a lot of the crew were left standing around doing nothing. One crew member said this for The Guardian. He would often show up in the mornings before these big sequences, and because he wouldn't allow his collaborators to put a plan in place, he would often just sit in his trailer for hours on end, wouldn't talk to anybody, was often smoking marijuana, and hours would go by without
Marijuana.
anything being filmed. And the crew and the cast would all stand around and wait. And then he would come out and whip up something that didn't make sense, and that didn't follow anything anybody had spoken about or anything that was on the page. And we would all just go along with it, trying to make the best out of it. But pretty much
It's story about producer, not a movie at all.
every day we would just walk away shaking our heads wondering what we just spent the last 12 hours doing. Based on the articles I read, it sounds like Coppola had a basic idea or a framework of the movie he wanted to make in his mind, but he wasn't entirely sure about a lot of the more specific aspects of it, which left a lot of the crew and talent feeling clueless. So it's kind of like making up things as they went along. Also, according to an article by The Hollywood Reporter,